Somewhere up there is the Fluorospar mine, or fluorite mine, up on that hill, I think, in the Orocopia Mountains. Walking up to the fluorite mine, you can kind of see them from here. They're at the top of the hill, end of the road. You could walk up that wash, straight up to the cuttings near the crest of the saddle. But I found it easier to walk this ridge line to the left or south of the wash. Tiny diggings for fluorite that I mentioned about halfway to the main spot. You can see the main spot across a couple hundred yards across the canyon. This little patch is along. You can see this, I believe it's a quartz monzonite, but it's basically like a granite. It's a granitic type material, intrusive igneous rock, formed 5 or 10 kilometers below the Earth's surface, and carried hot hydrothermal fluids that included calcium and fluoride. And when those hydrothermal fluids finally cooled, they formed calcite, which is calcium fluoride ionic bond, kind of like table salt, sodium chloride. This is calcium and fluoride combining into fluoride. In this pit, you don't see great crystals or even the banding, but it's all that I've seen so far, and I just got here, more massive fluorite. But they've got some nice hues of green in it, which we didn't see at the other site. Let's see if I can get some close-ups. Now this is just mostly white. But there are some pieces here. They're green. Nothing too spectacular at this site, but worth checking out. If you have energy to dig, who knows what you'll find. Sparkly and pretty, and if you break it open, you just see more of those sparkles here. At the other site, you'll see some fairly clear crystals, mostly purple. This has more of a greenish tinge, and it's massive fluorite. So from the little pit right before me, and you can see where the parking area is beyond, and just continue on up the ridge line, and there's some better diggings up there, and the main mine looks like it was across. Pretty desert out here. This is February and it's going to be 75 today. I wouldn't come out here any later than about April. Top of the ridge, a couple hundred feet away from that little diggings of fluorite. You can see the car and the parking area in the background. And there's more diggings up here along the top of the ridge. And this is where we found some of the best material. It was up here on top, and just on the other side of the ridge there's a couple of small diggings there that have some great stuff that doesn't look like it gets hit very hard. You can see where the main fluoride mine was, or fluorite, right across the way. We poked around there a little. Maybe we need to poke around more. Didn't see much on the way up. And then my wife was digging around some of those whitish patches on the other side of the ridge, that other ridge line over there, and she said mostly what she found up there was just milky quartz. So not what we're interested in today.
We're seeing some of these bigger chunks.
Yeah, so here's some of the pieces that we're finding. And this isn't too spectacular. Some is more purple, some is more banded, there's some with a little bit of green. And you just have to look at the white rocks closely. This is all fluorite. Here's some, you can see it's just in the rocks everywhere. Oh, there's a nice little purple one. I don't know what this one's going to be. I just found it here. You can see it all over the place, just sticking in the ground. Little pieces. The stuff to look for is the banded pieces. There's one with a bit of green, mostly clear. Here's a typical example. It doesn't look like much. Then break the corner off, and you can see it's got some nice banding and some clear crystal. We'll cut this one with the saw and see what it looks like. It may be hard to tell, but standing on a slightly lighter patch, this is a vein of fluorite in between the brownish quartz monzonite post rock. And it trends or strikes, looks like north, maybe northeast. You see it fairly much lines up. You can see it continues on down the hill, and then it steps over to the right a little, and there's another vein. That's where the old mine was. So there's veins that seem to be striking north or northeast. It's this lighter colored rock. There's another patch over there. And there's tons and tons of fluorite here. banding this piece. This is the old mine itself, and actually we walked right past this before, but now we're noticing if you look up close, all this white stuff, it's actually just a thin coating on the outside of some really nice light lavender colored and banded fluorite. That's going to be a nice piece. We cut it.